Christian Reviews.
Welcome to Real Christian Reviews, a time hack for you where we can approach our culture with a Christian worldview. Today we're going to talk about the movie The Forge. We're going to talk about the Christian music artist Forrest Frank and Jan Karon and the Mitford series books. Let's get into it. The Forge was created by Affirm Films and the Kendrick brothers, which you may know for films like Courageous and War Room. It was released in 2024. It's rated PG and it runs 2 hours and 5 minutes. All these details that you want up front. It is a Christian movie. So the things that I think about when I think about a movie that I want to know, especially if my children or my family is going to be watching it, is what kind of sex and nudity is in this movie. There is none in the movie The Forge. No inappropriate clothing even. I want to know profanity. How much? How gratuitous is it? There is no profanity in the movie The Forge. How about violence? There's no violence in this movie. Also, how does it line up against a Christian worldview? And this movie, being a Christian movie, is very biblically based. It actually uses the Bible verses in several of the scenes in a way that is very seamless and endearing. So there's no problem with it. Definitely has a Christian worldview. So all those four things, that's the bottom line up front for you. It's following a 19-year-old man who hasn't figured out yet that he's an adult. And it also is a story about his single mom and how she deals with that, which I feel like is so relevant and so relatable right now. It's also a lot about the power of prayer and positive male role models. So all of these are great themes to be thinking about. This movie was excellent. The acting is spot on. I mean, I cried at one point. I didn't feel like I was watching a play or somebody trying to act. The characters are so endearing and believable. This whole movie was done so well. I had absolutely no criticism about its quality at all. It's written really well. There's actually a couple of plot surprises, which I didn't expect. So way to go, Kendrick Brothers and Affirm Films. Also, you should know there are some mature topics. So if you're watching this with your family, you might have to have some discussions with your younger kids. Some of the topics, there's a delinquent dad who cheats on his wife. That's not discussed in detail, but it is talked about. There's drunk driving, and there is the death of a child. So also it talks about the difficulty of forgiving really hard things. These are all great topics to have with your kids, but you need to decide if your kids are old enough to really understand and what kind of language you can use to help them process some of that. My 12-year-old son was the one who actually told me to watch this movie. I don't know why it took me so long. It was excellent, and he was totally right. It was definitely worth the watch. I would recommend this movie to anybody. I highly recommend it. Not only was it spot on for Christian worldview with no issues that made me feel uncomfortable, it was really well done. So I recommend this for a movie night, movie afternoon, a church viewing, whatever. Harrison, what do you think about the movie The Forge?
Well,
Yeah?
I could really relate to a guy who just wants to lay around all day, you know what I mean?
That's good to know. Okay, let's talk about the Christian music artist Forrest Frank. Some of you may have heard of him, some of you may never have heard of him, but if your kids listen to Christian music, they've heard of him. And so there's some things that you might want to know about Forrest Frank. He has won multiple awards, including Grammys, Dove Awards, and Billboard Music. And the most popular songs right now in the Christian realm are songs like Up, Your Way is Better, Good Day, Celebration. These are all Christian songs. So he also has said himself that he would never use profanity in any of his music. So that's good for you to know. Now, there are some things you should know about Forrest Frank. Number one, not all of his music is Christian in genre. In fact, so his two latest albums that he has released. 2024, he released Child of God, all Christian music. 2025, he released Child of God 2, all Christian music. He also released an album called New Hymns in 2023, which is a Christian music album. However, he also released in 2023 California Cowboy. I don't know that there's anything wrong with it. I think there's still no profanity, but you should just know it's not a Christian album. It's not worshiping God, it's just music. It's recounting some of his experiences as actually working as a cowboy in California, so aptly named. But I just thought that you would be interested to know that. Forrest Frank seems to be a very good role model. As far as you know, he seems to be a very solid Christian. And the songs that are Christian in nature have very sound theology. In his music, the song called Celebration, some of his lyrics say, I need less of me, Father, Son, and Spirit. That's who I call G-O-D, which very good sound theology, talking about the Trinity and selflessness all in one breath. So Forrest Frank gets 2 thumbs up from me, but still you should know not all of his songs and albums are Christian music. Let's talk about Jan Karon. She's a Christian fiction author. She was born and lived a lot of her life in North Carolina. Shout out to North Carolina. And we're going to talk about her most famous series called the Mitford series. So I want you to see. Yes, I have read all of her Mitford series books. This is probably not all of them, but I have read them all several times. Do I enjoy them? Yes, but we're going to get into that. You want information more than you want my opinion. So, the Mitford series follows Father Tim, who is an Episcopal pastor. So, it's very fun. It's very laid back. It does deal with some very serious topics, and it has some mysteries that you want to solve or see solved. And so those things are really endearing. They keep the pace moving, but it's also very calming. Her writing is excellent. I aspire to write like her. When she describes the scenery and certain scenarios, you just feel like you're watching somebody painting a beautiful picture. So her writing is so enjoyable. It's not going to give you an adrenaline rush, which for me is a plus. I don't need any extra adrenaline. I want to relax with a book, and these are the books you can do that with. Okay, some things you need to know up front. What kind of sex and nudity? None. So there are people in the book who get married or have children, and so it is implied that they do have sex, but it's never described. Even the romance part of it, it's very wholesome, it's very clean. How about profanity? I would not say none, but it's very rare, and most of it is used in like a colloquialism kind of way, and sometimes profanity is alluded to, like he said things that would make you blush, but you don't have to read it. You can use your imagination. So it's very clean as far as that's concerned, but I wouldn't say none. Violence. So there are instances of violence. They're usually mild or they're not described very detailed. There are some people in the book series that Father Tim helps who have been abused. And it does not describe any of that in great detail. So you're not going to feel like you've been dragged through the mud reading these books, but you are going to feel that heart pang of some of the difficulties that they go through. How about the Christian worldview? That's what we really want to know, right? So this is set, the main character is an Episcopal pastor. So let that tell you what it will as far as theology goes. And you really see both his growth in faith and Jan Karon's, really, as you work through this book series. At the beginning, you know, it's very heartwarming, it's very clean and wholesome, but you really start to see his faith become super real as the series progresses, even though it's a Christian book and he's a pastor. So you get to see that. There are Bible verses that are quoted correctly. It does not glorify any sinful practices. It's not trying to help immerse you in the culture. It's just coming at the culture and being in it, which is where we all live. So as far as Christian worldview, I think it's very good. Are you going to agree with everything that Father Tim agrees with? Maybe, maybe not. But it is very big on the power of prayer and on wanting to see God's will be done. I love these books. These characters are so well written that when you get to the end of the series, which might take you a little while, you're going to feel bereft that you're done with the series and you'll probably want to read it again. So I do highly recommend this book series. I probably need to go through like one book at a time and do a review on each one of them. One more thing that might be of interest to you. I'm not receiving any compensation for these reviews. I haven't been paid. If I have an affiliation with them, because I do work as an editor and a graphic designer and a writer, I will let you know up front. But even then, I'm not being paid for these reviews. These are just things I'm sharing with you that I thought might be helpful for you as you navigate the culture with your Christian worldview. If you have something that you think I should review on here, please put it in the comments and I will definitely take a look at it. Am I definitely going to review it? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. But I will definitely read it and I'll get back to you on it. If you're an author, especially a Christian author, and you're trying to get your book out there and you would like me to do a review for you, I would be happy to do that. Now, I will not charge you anything for the review. You do not have to pay me. You do need to get me a copy of the manuscript, but I cannot guarantee that it's going to be a positive review. It will be a real and honest review. So if you're interested in that, you can put that in the comments below as well, and I'll try to get back in touch with you. All right, I hope you guys have a great day.